That's a very
Hello.
preachy.
I'm leaving now.
Oh my god. Hello, everyone. We're reacting to this. We haven't reacted to Stealth in a long time. That's mostly because I've been very busy and there's been a lot of stuff for us to react to. Also, people didn't really seem to mind all that much, but I'll give it another try and see if people like us reacting to it. But this is SsethTzeentach. He gives very strange reviews of stuff. Very silly, very funny. Anyway.
Mac, it just turns out I need to go. I'll see you never. Bye.
Oh my god.
It's nice knowing you. Goodbye.
Anyway, besides Fable being a drama queen, we're going to hit into this. So if you like our stuff, you know the drill. I'm gonna...
Hey, struggler. Seth
What?
here. If I sound sick, I am sick.
Oh.
I ate rare water buffalo from Zhengzhou Wet
What?
Market, and I feel ill at ease.
Yeah,
Hello,
what?
Chud. Apply your finasteride and strap in, because I
Oh.
have a new hyperfixation. It's difficult.
Wait, Mamacat, we're getting a lot of echo from you.
Meow.
And strap in, because I have a new hyperfixation. It's difficult to recommend a roguelike, with the
Really?
full knowledge that I'm asking you to memorize keybinds for an entire
Oh.
keyboard and dedicate the next week of your adult life to using advanced inventory management to haul a diesel engine across
Wait,
town.
what?
In a game with less visual fidelity than the graphing calculator I used to cheat on my math exam.
Yeah, we're getting still a lot of echo from you.
Wait, what's echoing?
We can hear the video in your background.
I don't know how to adjust that.
Do you have headphones?
Wait. Yeah, I do. Let me turn them on.
Yeah, that'll help.
I nearly strangled myself getting out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Oh my god.
Mac, don't worry. Earth's mightiest Avenger will save us.
Iron Man?
No, Thor.
Iron Man.
Isn't he a fat with the whole...
Yeah.
Engine across town. In a
Wow.
game with less visual fidelity than the graphing calculator I used to cheat on my math exam. Path of Achra is not only the fastest roguelike out there,
What?
it's also the only one that can be played by holding a single key. Similarly, you
What?
can speedrun adverts
How?
by pressing L on your keyboard.
Buenos días, amigos.
I'm currently in Mexico. Don't ask why. I've
Wow.
got just one small problem. All of my favorite shows are region locked. And by
Oh,
region locked,
this is
I of
what
course
we're
know
doing.
watching anything other than Dragon Ball Z in my area is punishable by death due to regional
No,
licensing
madam, it's no
agreements. But
longer
if you're
echoing.
seeing this video,
Yeah, it's
that
no
means
longer
I
echoing.
didn't
You're
get
good.
caught
Yay.
because I use ExpressVPN and was able to get access to my sweet content from all over the globe. ExpressVPN routes all of your internet traffic through a secure encrypted tunnel, so nobody, not even
El resplandeciente.
knows what you're up to when you go online. All it takes
Alright.
is one click, and now my internet traffic is a secret for me and me alone. Even ExpressVPN has no idea what I'm doing, thanks to their
What?
trusted server technology, which, if you didn't know, means they are literally incapable of storing your data. Now I'm secure. Hold on, I've got
What?
another problem. Every website is defaulting to this strange alien language I've never seen
Spanish.
before. I brought it to the local university, and after an hour of debate between the world's most premier anthropologists, they've identified it as Spanish. It would take a lifetime
my
of study to
God.
decide which of these myriad incomprehensible buttons are hiding the language options. A lifetime that I cannot spare. Thankfully, ExpressVPN allows you to easily spoof your location to one of over 100 countries. Just pick your location, click connect, and you're done.
Right.
Much better. Right now, you can take advantage of ExpressVPN's Black Friday, Cyber Monday offer to get the absolute best VPN
Helldivers
deal
2.
you'll find all year. Find out how you can get 3
Very
months
fun.
free by scanning the QR code on screen, clicking the link in the description box below, or by going to expressvpn.com/Seth. The cartels won't wait for you, but I
my
will.
God.
Holding tab will attack the closest enemy,
Oh my
pick
God, the
items off the
cartel.
ground, and take the next exit automatically. Do not
All right.
mistake this ease of entry for lack of depth, because I've played this
We
for
can
several
afford
dozen hours,
cards
and
with the
believe me,
cartel.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's very simple. You pick a race, a class, and a god. This is similar to
Yay.
real
Race, a
life,
class,
where
and a
based
god.
on
Say
channel
we did.
demographics, most of
Yeah, let's not.
you are Albanian, what I'm doing. It's very simple. You pick a race, a class, and a god. This is similar to
Oh.
real life, where, based on channel demographics, most of you are Albanian. Each time you
What?
kill enough enemies, your
How would
glory
most of you be
rises, which is
Albanian?
this
That's
game's
insane.
version of leveling up. This gives you a choice of attributes,
Oh,
strength,
cool.
dexterity, willpower, or vigor, and gives a point to spend on powers. Powers are abilities in one of 9 elements, each with a unique playstyle. Of these, you can mix and match up to 7 powers from a total of 3 different elements. Or you can just hit random and spontaneously die because it gave
Oh.
a plague chant. Dropping enough points in certain powers fulfills requirements, allowing you to select a
interesting.
prestige class, which will power scale your character from good to ridiculous. Completing a dungeon takes you to the Overland, where you're given a choice of up to 3 different paths you can take on the path of Achra. These give exact information on what items you'll find and which enemies you'll encounter. Items are important for survival, and enemies are doubly important, because if you don't read the fine print of their description, you'll die without knowing that a Storm Knight ignores 90% of your defense and
Oh, that sounds horrible. 90% of defense and block.
shreds your early tank. Everything in this game works by interacting with a set of triggers. For example, we have a Cyclops warrior of Marduk. On attack,
Okay.
he deals blunt damage equal to half his current life bar to adjacent enemies. On game turn, he applies 7 poise to himself, amplified by his class special. I take points into heavyweight, which deal damage to the attacker when I shrug off the attack, meaning my armor score is
nice.
higher than the enemy's hit, which is the damage of an attack that connected because the enemy's
God
accuracy
damn.
is higher than my dodge. However, I have a shield. My shield blocks most attacks. Block takes precedence over armor, and I rarely benefit. This is an example of antagonistic triggers. I want to be hit, so I drop the shield. Our racial passive triggers
yeah,
on
I see.
attack, not on hit, which means it goes off regardless if our attack actually connects. I have no natural healing, which doesn't matter because we take vigor each time glory rises, which you can automate in the bottom right.
okay.
The higher my
Interesting.
health pool, the more damage I do. So I hold tab and become catatonic for the next few minutes. Then I pump 10 points into heavyweight, which lets me take the Gallus prestige class, which deals blunt damage in a 4-tile radius each turn, and every time
Dear
I
God.
shrug off an attack equivalent
This
to
is
my
insane.
exuberance, which is massive, by the way, resulting in me being an incredibly slow fat fuck who relies on enemies killing themselves by attacking my gigantic armor score. This is my 600-pound life, or as some might say, the ideal female form. Our god of choice, Marduk, transforms helmets we pick up to become even heavier, so we deal even more damage. On the
Interesting.
way, I managed to pick up a Maruna Sash, which makes us attack adjacent enemies on step, meaning our racial passive now triggers from simply walking up to enemies.
Dear
We take
God.
the heaviest armor with the highest inflexibility, because we also found the Inu Greatsword, which, on attack, per point of inflexibility, deals ice damage in a path based on encumbrance, which means every attack I do now sprays out 5 volleys of ice.
This is completely insane. He's basically just walking and dealing damage to everyone for any reason. He really
He
looks...
is hell on earth.
Yeah,
He just walks the buildings crumble.
pretty much. He's become nuclear Godzilla. For some reason. But,
Goes
yeah,
on a stroll and ends humanity.
some people love playing the character where they're... or love breaking games like this in some ways or another. But yeah, dear God.
Flexibility divides speed and willpower damage bonuses, but we're incredibly obese and retarded, so we don't care. Any items that aren't needed can be burned for extra stats by mousing over them and tapping
To learn
free.
the world,
At this
except
point,
for
we
him. He
stack
wants to
strength,
burn it.
get fatter,
Yeah.
and keep holding tab. Keep holding tab so long
likes
you
burning
win the
the
game.
worlds.
Congratulations on beating Path of Achra.
What?
On the first cycle of humility. Good luck on the second cycle of degradation. I used to think the 6th cycle of
What?
annihilation was bad, until I reached the 16th cycle of rupture. But now I'm at the 32nd cycle of outer dark, and time is melting.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
Consuming Century Egg was a poor decision. Cycles are this game's way of stress testing a build. A solid understanding of triggers will get you through the first cycle, which is the intended difficulty. But you'll need ridiculous synergy to survive ahead. Enemies are more brutal, but the trade-off is more experience, as you'll reach your prestige class before you even finish the first 2 floors. And believe me, you're not going to survive very far without it. Glory or Death unlocks other classes, races, and gods for you to combine. It doesn't take very long. A couple successful runs are all you need to unlock every option. The only purpose of gating them is to keep new players from getting overwhelmed, and to punish me because I didn't pay the first time and I have to do it all over again. Tab builds are some of the most prominent, but there's another kind of gameplay. It's called standing still. Quamar, ascetic of Fada. We put everything into Astra hunting. We remove his armor, and this is what happens when I click spacebar.
Dead.
He neon genesis across the room, very Evangelion-ly.
What the
Explanation,
hell?
each time I stand still by hitting spacebar,
You heard
Astro
him, it's
Hunting
very
teleports me to the
Evangelion-ly.
closest enemy
Oh
and
my
deals
God,
damage.
no,
And if I
Fable.
have no armor equipped, this also triggers on kill. Normally, after teleporting, you receive stasis, which prevents further teleportation. However, our god removes stasis on standstill, leading to a chain
Wow.
reaction, where each time I score a kill, I
I'm just
trigger Astro
repeating what
Hunting
he
again
said,
and
man.
repeat
It's
the
very
process.
Evangelion-ly.
That's all you're gonna do, Fable? You're gonna repeat Evangelionly?
Yes.
Of course you are. Anyway.
Madam, he knows how I am, and yet he still continues to ask me to come here.
Oh my god. I let you guys come here because I provide comfort, and also it's nice to react to stuff not just by myself and actually have someone to talk to when I'm doing this kind of thing.
That's very Evangelion-ly of you, Mac.
I poke you with a very long stick.
No.
Yes. Jab with stick. Jab, 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 jab. You know. This is, Seth loves doing this kind of thing in games. I know that, so this game might be perfect for him, considering it feels like it's kind of meant for that sort of thing.
The
Which
build
is
itself
breaking
is
it.
garbage. The important thing is that you have another key to press. Summon builds are self-explanatory. You fill the screen with summons that do all the work for you. Vtubers,
Oh.
Druid of Ninhur. Your class weapon deals poison damage to the closest enemy on summon. Prestiging in Briar Mage amplifies all poison damage by the stacks of Entangle on an enemy, which you apply each time you summon. As most summons take place on
Damn.
entrance, you nuke the entire floor before the turn even begins. You win the game by entering a room. We've reached perfection because we're pressing no keys at all. Grove Cult fills the screen and heals you each time you summon. Grave Chant summons cadavers each time you make a kill, which propagates the feedback loop.
Dear
In the
God.
event you don't win outright, Arbormancy and Overgrowth applies Entangle each time a summon attacks or is attacked. Venokinesis deals poison each time you entangle, and Dread Legion randomly steroids your forces each time they die, which are instantly replaced because we summon 2 Briarfolk, 2 Geezes, a Vine Spawn, and a Hatchling every turn. Despite
This is
dumping everything into
insane.
willpower, you'll quickly reach your summon limit, or simply run out of space. Star Cult applies Meditate each time you summon, which, combined with the Entangle stacks from Briar Mage and your willpower, chunks the final boss from several million to 0. The king of many colors. And I don't like any of them. In this game,
What?
there's only one active ability. Prayer. Each
Okay.
god has free prayers which charge on different triggers. Do you enjoy putting your testicles in a vice grip and squeezing them until they burst like a little grape? Well,
What?
I've got just a build for you. Lokra, Priest of the Worm. The Worm is a god that corrodes every enemy on screen when they move or
Oh.
attack, and heals you for the stacks of corrosion under the condition that his first prayer isn't fully charged. What does
Oh.
it do? It pours acid on you. If enemies
Oh.
are still alive, it heavily corrodes your character. If enemies are dead, you nuke yourself for 300 psychic damage. It charges
Damn.
each time you enter a new area, so you have a choice between delayed or immediate pain. It's well worth it, and a single point in life chant outweighs the chemical burn. Status effects are incredibly dangerous conditions if allowed to stack.
Yeah.
However, by taking points in a master power, such as Master Scorch, Freeze, Bleed, Entangle, or Doom, we are no longer affected and benefit from the condition instead. Sinking 20 points into Master Doom lets us prestige into Torturer. Each
Oh.
time we apply a harmful effect to ourselves, Torturer copies it to a random enemy according to our current stacks.
Oh.
Master Doom applies Doom to yourself on ally or enemy death. Priest amplifies status effects, giving us 50% more Doom. The Worm's second prayer charges on Stand Still, but we take projection to make our prayers count as Stand Still, which means praying now charges the prayer. We make use of our
Wow.
infinite prayer with Necromancy, which on prayer summons cadavers. We fill the screen with trash summons for
Dear
the purpose
God.
of killing them off. On ally death, they give us Doom stacks. Torturer propagates and copies our Doom stacks. When attacked, a
God,
creature
he
takes
broke the
5
game
death
even
damage
more.
per stack of Doom, which importantly doesn't have to connect. So my skeleton swipes at the enemy, misses,
Yeah.
and nukes them for 6 million damage. Welcome to
Escaping
Torture.
or
This
dead.
is one of the most mechanically complex builds with the most actions on screen. So at this
Yeah.
point, I recommend turning off
Oh.
fast mode, turning off VSync, and uncapping the frame rate.
What?
It's also incredibly fragile. Early game sucks ass, and if you encounter a Firebird, Thunder Priest, or Edlight, you won't have to worry about any of that, because your run is over.
Oh.
With that in mind, here's something a little more reliable. Goblin Sorcerer of Apophis. Apophis gives strength each
Alright.
floor you climb, at the cost of taking 7% of your max health each time you're attacked. This is not a problem, because enemies will never reach you. 1 point in
Oh.
Burning Ooze, 10 points in Oozemancy, which summons a number of blobs equivalent to your skill level each time you pray. Each time
Oh.
you score a kill, your prayers reset, making this an infinite loop. To stop
God
nuking
damn.
your own summons, take Invigoration. Projection, to make prayers count as standstill.
It's
Growth
Pathfinder
Cult
first edition of the
self-sustain on
game.
summon,
It seems
and dump
like
the rest
it.
into Star Cult.
I've seen
Anything
what
that
people
doesn't
do
give
on
meditate or
Pathfinder.
trigger on summon, toss into the fire
It
and
gets
get
insane.
infinite speed because of your racial ability. Prestige into ill profit and fill the screen with purple, and then punish people for standing on it. Or
Oh my
just
God.
go Archmagus and stack infinite meditate. Conversely,
Oh.
if you'd like to speedrun the game, take an Aslan of Ixchana, pray twice, and die on the second turn.
Oh,
In all
damn.
seriousness, Virya Aslan of Eris. Aslans hate praying, and Eris hates prayer. They're perfect for each other. Eris rewards
What?
you for taking the most dangerous path by upgrading your main hand weapon so hard that it hits for 1,000,000 by the time you clear the first
Oh
zone.
my
Her
God.
prayers do nothing, but as long as they're fully charged, you become nearly invincible. Taking a lethal blow when a prayer is fully charged triggers divine intervention, preventing death
Oh.
and draining your charges. An apostle can exploit this by taking a god with easy charging prayers and dying repeatedly to reset his charges. Pair this with Gortide for an even bigger nuke that scales
Dear
with missing
God.
health. I couldn't figure this
Done
one
with
out.
this.
Sometimes a synergy is there, but you just can't piece it together into a working build.
That's
This
why-
was the case for me with Transform build.
That's why I usually use trial and error constantly. It's what I do with Yu-Gi-Oh! I use trial and error for my cards to see, well, maybe this card is good, but if it becomes more of a dead hand, then I just eventually take that card out because it's not being useful. You know what I mean? Trial and error, trial and error. Some people immediately see the synergy, some people don't. But yeah.
Builds. I tried for the longest time to make
Oh.
Drake form viable. Prestiging into Ogum triggers prayers on initial attack. I can't pray or receive divine intervention, but I
Oh.
do get to be a dragon. Then I wake up and realize Azada is a shitty god, and I could be doing this with literally anyone else. They're still
Wow.
interesting, and if you ever want to disappoint your deity of choice, prestige horror form and watch the
Huh?
combat log as you bleed someone for 1,000,000 damage. You receive as
Goddamn.
many stacks of horror form as the damage you
Only
take,
a
which
million?
uniquely goes into the several thousands,
Learn
triggering
more
a
from
different
failure than
transformation
victory.
replaces
True.
and inherits all of the previous stacks. Brood Umpuad of Humbaba. Each time we take damage, we get 1,000 stacks of horror form. Each time we're attacked but don't take damage, we trigger
Oh.
our class ability and convert this into 1,000 stacks of jackal form, which
Oh.
gives us approximately 3,000 speed. To put this into
Goddamn.
perspective, a game turn takes place at a speed of 5. High speed is crucial for fragile characters, and nothing
I
is more
see.
fragile than basing your entire build on walking. On step is a lovely gimmick that doesn't work because level generation will kill you at every turn. I never thought I'd be
Oh.
saying this, but I am countered by a narrow corridor. That doesn't
Really?
mean it's not fun. Tengu Nartaka of Tengri generates insane
Tengri.
amounts of charge from fighting barehanded while wearing his shoulder piece. Taking Master Charge gives us speed per stack of charge, which you
Ooh.
build up by stepping with Electromancy. Technique lets us shred enemies as we walk past them. Astrostoicism teleports away enemies whenever you're cornered, and prestiging into Elise generates even more charge.
Ooh, this is
Tengri gives
crazy.
insane dodge per point of speed, and you'll feel like a complete god. Until something smacks you from a non-attack source and you die in a single hit. All
Damn.
of these builds require powers. But what if you took no powers at all? Well, if you somehow survive to Glory 20 without a single ability, you can prestige as Anroth and double all of your current stats. Volkite
Goddamn
Warrior
it.
of Dorok. Dorok gives us poise each time we're attacked, amplified by our class passive. Volkite supplements our damage by burning nearby enemies based on the weight of our equipment. As long as we don't move, our poise stacks will tank us to Glory 20. Even after
Goddamn.
prestiging, we take no powers because the Anroth perk is even stronger. If we have no powers, each time our glory rises, we heal to full and upgrade our main and offhand weapon with an extra 100 hidden block. This doesn't sound significant on its own, but bear with me. We pump nothing but strength, which after doubling
Alright.
by Anroth goes into the triple digits. Each
Oh.
point of strength increases our block by 10%.
Alright, let's see where
This
he's
is
going
applied
with
to the
this
base
one.
value, which is continually increased by Anroth. This leads us to having a shield with more than 1,000% extra block. In the absence of powers, this entire build hinges on finding a single item. The Arja Spear, which,
Oh.
on attack, deals ice damage in a path to the target equal to our block. Since this
Oh,
number is about
nice.
300,000,
Goddamn,
we
but
annihilate
still.
every cycle in the game. Or we fail to find it because of poor RNG and this build falls apart. Success in the higher cycles is less about skill and more of a dice roll if I actually get the items I need. In summary, there's a lot of builds out there, from berserkers that benefit from fighting completely nude to hemogoblin summoners that win by self-harm. It's impossible impossible to cover them all, which is what makes it so fun. Everyone
Yeah, I can
finds
see
something
why, but
different.
it's,
I cheesed through with a
not
dog
much of a
stacking
visual
mesmer
game.
and theory crafted endlessly until a friend saw the game and found a better build than anything I ever made in under an hour.
Wow.
This game is a fusion between highbrow and higher chromosome. The best builds are either made by master theory crafters or a Down syndrome savant, and there's no in between. Many games out there are wide as a lake and deep as a puddle. Path of Achra is a kiddie pool which you drown in, and 100 hours later,
Wow.
I'm still sinking. It's a slimline product with gameplay first, and in terms of graphics, yeah, I guess it has color. For the Zoomers that
Yeah.
don't have an internal monologue or the ability to visualize an apple inside their mind's eye, here's what the
Apple
game
inside
looks
their
like
mind's
for the
eye.
rest of us.
Yeah.
My only critique is that the sprites are sometimes such low fidelity that I can't interpret what they are. The golden litter
Yeah.
is meant to be two hobgoblins carrying gold. I thought it was a
That's-
caked up demon turd with muscular legs wearing heels. Naturally, it's not for everyone, but if you're neurodivergent and your nickname at school used to be Active Shooter, you might
Wow.
enjoy this. Your only limitation is your
Alright.
creativity
course
and
you
your
would.
stubbornness to see it through. Even when it falls apart,
Meow.
restarting is a momentary setback on the path of Achra. In keeping with the lore of this game, my final score is don't know, don't care, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you. 10 out of 10.
course.
It's $10. Go get it.
Really?
As always, more content to
$10.
come, so stay tuned. A warm thanks to the many members of a Merchants Guild, generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you all next year.
Well then, that was interesting. It's a game basically meant to be broken over and over again, through different ways. Not really my cup of tea, but anyone else can enjoy that style of game. Breaking games is fun for certain people. I used to watch this one guy who just loved breaking games, to the point of just beating everything easily. Anyway, thank you all so much, and we'll see you later. If you like what we're doing here, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, and later, guys.